It started at 6:47 in the morning. Chicago, February. The kind of cold that doesn't ask permission. Most of the city was still asleep, but on the corner of Mercer and 9th, a guy named Ryder was already setting up his cart. 26 years old, quiet hands, steady eyes, he moved like someone who had already made peace with something the rest of the world hadn't figured out yet. He stacked paper cups, filled the thermos, wiped down the counter, slow and deliberate, like every single movement meant something. An older man named Gerald shuffled over first. He came every morning, newspaper under his arm, same spot, same order. Gerald wrapped both hands around the cup. "Ryder, you put something different in this today." Ryder didn't look up. "Little cardamom. Wind's picking up from the east. Figured your knees would need it." Gerald closed his eyes and took a slow sip. "Boy," he said quietly, "you don't make coffee. You make medicine." A cab driver named Dion leaned against the cart. He had just finished a double overnight shift, his eyes half closed. "Man, I don't know what you put in this," Dion said, "but I swear my body stops fighting me after the first cup." Ryder smiled. "It doesn't fix anything. Just makes you forget for a minute." That was his life. Quiet, contained, purposeful in a way nobody around him understood. Then a black SUV pulled up. 3 men got out, expensive jackets, clean shoes, the kind of confidence that comes not from earning it but from borrowing it from someone more powerful. The one in front raised his voice so the whole block could hear. "Everybody clear out. This corner belongs to Mr. Harlan Voss. Parking expansion starts today." Gerald stepped back. Dion put down his cup. The small crowd dissolved without a word. Ryder didn't move. He kept pouring, kept stirring like they weren't there. The man walked up close and looked Ryder over like he was checking for something to throw away. "You hear me? Pack up. This is Voss territory." Ryder looked at him, no panic, no anger, just eyes that had already seen worse. "This corner belongs to the city," Ryder said. "Not one man." The guy laughed. "You know who Harlan Voss is?" "I've heard the name," Ryder said. "Don't need to know more than that." The man's jaw tightened. "Keep playing tough. See what happens." He shoved the cart sideways. 2 cups fell and cracked against the pavement. The man pointed at Ryder like a warning and climbed back into the SUV. Gerald came rushing over. "Ryder, those are Voss people. Don't do this." Ryder crouched down and picked up the broken pieces, one at a time. "Gerald," he said, "a man who wakes up in the morning to take something from somebody with nothing. I'm not afraid of him." That evening, a different car arrived, bigger, quieter. The man who stepped out didn't need to raise his voice to make a room pay attention. His name was Mick, Harlan Voss's operations director, the kind of man who ended problems before they became headlines. "You the one who talked back to my guys this morning?" Ryder turned around, calm. "I asked for what was mine," Ryder said. "If that's talking back, sure." Mick stepped closer. "You know what Voss Group is?" "I do." "Then you know your little cart won't be here tomorrow." Ryder started packing up his things, unhurried. Without looking at Mick, he said, "Mick, can I ask you something?" Mick stopped. "How do you know my name?" Ryder looked at him then, steady, almost bored. "Same way I know about the Section 9 land filing from 3 years ago. The one with the missing signatures." The air between them changed. Mick's face went still. Something flickered behind his eyes, not rage, something closer to fear. "What are you talking about?" "Just reminding you," Ryder said. "The cart stays. Do what you want with that." He picked up his thermos and walked. That night, Ryder sat in a rented room that had seen better decades. 1 bed, One table, a photo of his mother on the wall, and a laptop on the table that looked completely out of place, sleek, expensive, the kind of machine that belonged in a boardroom. On the screen were files, financial records, corporate structures, names that meant something in this city. Harlan Voss, Brennan Cho, Sutton Park Group. His phone buzzed. "Yeah, it's Jade." Her voice was careful. "You okay?" "Heard the Voss guys came through." "I'm fine, Ryder." A pause. "The Holloway Group party is in 2 days. Brennan Cho, the Sutton people, Voss, they're all confirmed. And Priya." He said the name quietly. "Her and her brother Colt. Both on the list." Ryder was quiet for a moment. He looked at his mother's photo. "Jade, handle the Voss situation quietly. No moves yet." "Yes, but Ryder, tomorrow." He put the phone down. He didn't sleep for a long time. Priya, that name, his wife, daughter of the Oberfeld family. Sharp, driven, beautiful in the way storms are beautiful from a distance. He had loved her genuinely, the kind of love that doesn't calculate. She had married him because her grandfather asked her to, and for a while, that was enough. But as her career rose, the distance grew, and the distance grew a wall, and the wall grew until Ryder could no longer see over it. The next morning, Priya called before he was out of bed. "Ryder, come by the apartment today. There's something we need to handle." Her voice was the temperature of a fire exit door. "Fine," he said. When he arrived, her best friend Bree was already there, sitting straight, papers in hand, ready. Ryder had barely stepped through the door before Bree was on her feet. She thrust the papers at him. He took them, looked. Divorce papers. The room went quiet. He set the papers on the table and looked at Priya. "Is this yours?" Priya glanced at Bree for half a second before answering. "Yes, it's mine, Ryder. This isn't working. I've been carrying this relationship and I'm done." "Was that you talking, or her?" He nodded at Bree. Bree stepped forward. "She's speaking for herself, and honestly, you've given her nothing. She's built everything she has with her own hands. You sell coffee on a street corner. She deserves more." Ryder looked at Bree, not angry, just still. That stillness made Bree uncomfortable. "Bree," he said, "I didn't ask you." Bree went quiet. He turned back to Priya. Their eyes met. Something crossed her face, quick, involuntary, like a flinch at a sound only she heard. Then it was gone. "Ryder," she said, "sign the papers." He was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "I'll sign when you tell me yourself. No audience, no scripts." He picked up his jacket. "When you make a decision that's actually yours, call me." He walked out. The next morning, Priya called again, same cold voice, same flat command. "Ryder, come now." He arrived. This time, someone else was in the apartment. Harlan Voss, sitting on the couch, legs crossed, wearing the kind of watch that costs more than most people earn in a year. Ryder saw him and understood everything. Priya stood quickly. She didn't look Ryder in the eye. "Ryder, these are the divorce papers. Sign them. I'm moving forward." Ryder looked at Voss, one long look, then at Priya. "Is this your decision?" Priya's voice cracked just slightly before she steadied it. "Yes. You're a coffee vendor, Ryder. We don't match. We never did." Voss leaned back and smiled, the smile of a man who's already won. "Brother, she's made her choice. You're not on her level. Sign the papers. Go back to your corner and I'll make it worth your time." Ryder didn't respond to him. He walked to the table, picked up the papers, read each page slowly. Then he picked up a pen. Priya's breath caught. Voss sat up straighter. Ryder signed page by page and set the pen down. Then he walked to Priya and extended his hand. "My grandmother's ring," he said. "It's mine." She hesitated, then slid it off and placed it in his palm. He closed his fist around it and said nothing for a moment. "Priya, I want you to remember something. Everything you've built, everything you think is yours, it exists because of me. The day you find out what that means, it's going to hurt." Voss laughed out loud. Big talk from a guy with a coffee thermos. Ryder turned and looked at Voss the way you look at a door you're about to walk through and never come back to. "Harlan, the day isn't far where you'll be standing in front of me asking for something. Remember this moment when that happens." Voss laughed harder. "Sure, buddy. Sure." Ryder left. Outside, the cold didn't bother him. He walked to his bike, put his grandmother's ring in his pocket, and made a call. "Jade." Her voice dipped. "How'd it go?" "It's done." Silence. "I'm sorry." "Don't be." He exhaled. "The Holloway party, 2 nights from now. Get my clothes ready." A pause. "Which ones?" "The ones from the Scottsdale deal." Jade's voice changed, something between surprise and quiet excitement. "Ryder, you're coming back. Tell everyone to be ready tomorrow night. Chicago changes." The next day, Ryder ran his corner for the last time. Gerald came. Dion came. A little girl who always asked for hot chocolate came. He gave everyone extra, laughed a little louder, stayed a little longer. He knew what this morning was. When he packed up the cart, he looked at Gerald. "Nobody's going to bother this corner after tonight." Gerald frowned. "How, son?" Ryder smiled, climbed on his bike. "Trust me." That evening, Jade came to the room. She had the suit. When Ryder put it on and turned to the mirror, Jade stopped mid-sentence. This was not the man who ran the coffee cart. This was someone entirely different, the kind of person that rooms go quiet for before they've said a word. "Ryder?" Jade couldn't finish the sentence. "You scared?" he asked. "A little." "Good," he said. "So are they." The Holloway Group Gala was held at the Grand Continental on Michigan Avenue. 8 o'clock, 200 people, the kind of crowd where everyone knows everyone and the air smells like old money and fresh ambition. Brennan Cho, Sutton Park executives, Harlan Voss with his father Douglas Voss, Priya Oberfeld with her brother Colt. They moved in their separate circles, laughed, clinked glasses, and congratulated each other on things they hadn't fully earned. At the far end of the room, the host, Warren Holloway, stood apart from the crowd. His eyes kept moving to the main entrance. His assistant leaned in. "He's not here yet," Warren said. "He'll come. And when he does, watch every face in this room." Near the bar, Voss had his arm around Priya's shoulder. He lowered his voice. "After tonight, Oberfeld Group and Voss Group are the biggest names in the city. My father and Holloway go back 20 years. This deal is done." Priya smiled, but her eyes weren't completely in it. Colt stood nearby, grinning. "That coffee guy thought he was going to be a problem. Where is he now?" Priya's smile stayed in place, but she didn't respond. Then the main doors opened. There was a small commotion near the entrance. A security guard stepped in front of someone. Voices exchanged. Colt looked over and snickered. "There he is. They're going to throw him out." Voss laughed. "This is actually perfect. Let him get embarrassed in front of everyone." Priya turned. Ryder stood at the entrance in a charcoal suit that fit like it was made for exactly this room. Same calm face, same quiet eyes, not nervous, not performing, just there. The guard said, "Sir, your name isn't on the guest list." Ryder said, "Tell Warren Holloway that Ryder is here." The guard hesitated, walked over, said something quietly to the assistant. The assistant looked up and walked briskly to Warren. Warren Holloway turned around, looked at the door, and walked toward him. The entire room noticed. Warren Holloway had not walked toward anyone in 20 years. He reached the entrance, looked at Ryder, and a smile broke across his face, the kind of smile that belongs to a memory. He grabbed Ryder's hand with both of his. 5 years, Warren said. Where have you been? Ryder said, selling coffee. Warren stared at him for 1 full second, then laughed loud, genuine. You haven't changed, Warren said, and walked him into the room. The room went still. Priya's glass lowered slowly. Voss stopped mid-sentence. Colt said, "What is happening right now?" Brennan Cho's eyes narrowed. Sutton executives exchanged looks. Douglas Voss went rigid. Warren brought Ryder to the chair at the center of the main table, a chair that had been empty since the night began. Voss could not help himself. He pushed through the crowd and walked up. "Warren, what is this?" This man crashed the event. He wasn't even invited. He runs a coffee cart on Mercer Street. Do you know who he actually is? Warren looked at Voss slowly. I know exactly who he is, Warren said. The question is, do you? He's a nobody. Go sit down, Harlan. Voss's mouth closed. He stood there for a moment, then took 1 step back. Warren turned to the room. Quiet settled without him asking for it. 3 years ago, Warren said, when the Holloway Group's Singapore acquisition was 18 hours from collapse, one person stepped in quietly. No press, no credit. He restructured the financing in 48 hours and saved a $2 billion deal. Warren looked at Ryder. You want to tell them, or should I? Ryder stood. He looked at the room, every face, Brennan Cho, the Sutton people, Douglas Voss, Priya. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a ring. Gold, a small crest engraved on the band. The ones who knew it went pale. Brennan Cho said under his breath, that's the Rathmore seal. Ryder put the ring on. My name is Ryder Rathmore, he said. Chairman of Rathmore Capital. No one moved. Voss's color drained. Colt's jaw dropped. Priya closed her eyes. I chose a different life for a while, Ryder said. I wanted to see how the world treats a man when he has nothing, when his name means nothing, when he's just a guy with a cart on a corner. He paused. Now I know. His voice didn't rise. That was the thing about it. The lower it stayed, the heavier it landed. Some of you had my cart destroyed. Some of you threatened the people who depend on me for a cup of coffee in the morning. Some of you signed my divorce papers in the same week you were pitching me for a deal you didn't know was mine. He looked at Voss. Harlan, the 3 projects you and your father are here to pitch tonight, every single one of them, I am the silent lead investor, and have been since the beginning. Douglas Voss put his hand on a chair to steady himself. Harlan went completely still. Brennan Cho turned to his partner and said nothing. His silence said everything. Jade stepped forward from the edge of the room, tablet in hand. Ryder said quietly, effective tonight, Rathmore Capital is calling in its stake. Voss Group has 72 hours to restructure or we dissolve the partnership and reissue. Harlan's knees buckled slightly. Ryder, I didn't know. I swear I didn't. You knew I was a person, Ryder said. That should have been enough. Then Ryder looked at Priya. She hadn't moved. He walked toward her slowly. The crowd parted without thinking about it. When he stopped in front of her, she looked up. Her eyes were wet. Her hands were shaking. Priya, I have to tell you something. His voice was not angry. That made it worse. The Oberfeld Group's last 4 contracts, the ones that kept your company alive, I funded them through a shell company. I didn't want you to fail. I wanted you to be okay. Even when you didn't know I was there. Priya's face crumpled. You were successful, he said, because I loved you, not because you didn't need me. You just didn't know what form I was in. He reached into his jacket. The divorce papers. He held them up. Already signed. Already done. This is final, he said. I'm not fighting it. I never was. He set them on the table beside her. But I need you to know, the life you built on what you thought was your own strength, part of it was mine. And I gave it to you because I wanted to, not to hold over you, not for this moment. His voice caught for exactly 1 second. Just because I loved you. The room was so quiet that the chandeliers seemed loud. Colt looked at the floor. Priya's mother, who had slipped in from the back, pressed a hand over her mouth. Priya reached for Ryder's arm. He stepped back, not cruel, just final. I hope you build something real, he said. I genuinely do. Then he turned and walked back to where Jade was standing. In front of everyone, he took her hand. When my own life was falling apart, Ryder said, loud enough for the room, Jade kept everything running. She kept me running. She never asked for credit. She never asked for anything. He looked at her. That ends tonight. Jade was crying. She didn't look away. Priya watched from across the room. She understood now, all of it. The quiet mornings, the small room, the cart, the way he never fought back no matter how hard she pushed. He had been choosing this the whole time. She had mistaken patience for weakness, stillness for failure, love for dependency, and by the time she understood the difference, the door was already closed. Warren Holloway announced the formation of the Rathmore Community Trust, $500 million allocated for vendors, hourly workers, and small business owners targeted by corporate land grabs across the city. The room applauded. Priya stood in the corner alone. The applause rang in her ears like something she would hear for the rest of her life. Ryder and Jade left together. Douglas Voss opened the car door for him. No one asked him to. He just did. The car pulled into the Chicago night. Ryder didn't look back. Priya eventually left the city. It came out later that the Oberfeld Group had been quietly propped up for years by a man she called a failure. The revelation ended her career before she could end it herself. Jade became Ryder's partner in every sense of the word. Rathmore Capital doubled its valuation inside a year. And sometimes, on quiet mornings, Ryder still went back to the corner of Mercer and 9th. He'd get there early, set up a small thermos, and pour a cup for Gerald. Gerald never asked why. He just wrapped both hands around the cup, closed his eyes, and said, every single time, still tastes like medicine, son. And Ryder would smile, not the smile of a man who won, but the smile of a man who never forgot who he was when he had nothing. Because the most dangerous person in the room isn't the one making the most noise. It's the one who already knows how the story ends.